Well, good afternoon. How are you all today? It's Saturday afternoon. What a beautiful day. Just got back from my daughter's soccer game. It's a big soccer tournament this weekend, and I got to go back here in a little bit. And as I was watching all the kids out there on the soccer pitches, they call soccer fields, those of us who are Americans would call it, it reminded me of a video that I've been wanting to make for quite a while. You know, we hear a lot of people ragging on the younger generations. They don't know how to work. They don't know this. They don't know that. And, they're weak. They're fat. They spend all their time on video games and everything like that. Older generations have always said that about generations that were younger than them, and so many of these people don't realize that. Well, I want to tell you a little bit of truth here, because if you don't have contact with a lot of the younger people, you may not know this. I'm a boomer. My wife is Gen X. My nieces and nephews, it's my dog chasing something. My nieces and nephews are millennials. My kids are Gen Zers. And I don't think I have anybody in the family. Yeah, I guess I do. I got a couple of them. Real little ones, you know. I have a broad spectrum of people that I know very well, and through them I know a lot of other people. You know, their friends, their activities, and things like this. And I want to tell you that this idea that you are being fed, you know, over the years about the kids being stupid and lax and lazy and fat and all that. Well, let me just put it this way. Out in that soccer complex, there were hundreds of kids, maybe thousands. You can't believe how many soccer fields there are. And I mean, they were running, they were working hard. There was not a fat one out there. These are not only kids who are giving it their all. They're highly disciplined. They do well in school. They are the children of parents, for the most part, who have raised them according to good traditional foundational values. And when I look at the greater Kansas City area, I don't know how many of these soccer complexes there are. I mean, they're all over the place. And every time I drive by one, it is full. And I mean, it is full from whenever school lets out. And during the summertime, it's full the whole day. Till, late at night. They're playing under the lights. It's 10 o'clock and those places are still full. There are hundreds of thousands just in this area that are not what you have been told younger people are. You know, this idiot that shot Charlie Kirk, I just read that he was his roommate, his lover, whatever it was. He was involved in, what is it called? Furry porn? I mean, I guess they wear cat's ears, and then they watch these weird cartoonish things to where, I don't know, animal looking like things are doing weird stuff. Okay, those are the ones you hear about. Those are the ones that are on the news. And when people see a few of those, or they see some kid someplace being lazy, or they see a kid walking out of Walmart who's overweight, probably with a couple of overweight parents, right? Or they see somebody or some young kid maybe not doing his job at the grocery store or McDonald's as quickly as they think that they should. They go away with this idea that these entire younger generations are worthless. You know, lazy, overweight, addicted to their phones, all this. And I have a life that exposes me to all this, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not true. It is not true. These younger generations are, in many cases, more conservative. At least, you know, people might use the word conservative in different ways. More traditional than many of their parents. It was these generations that Charlie Kirk appealed to. It was these generations that voted Donald Trump in. It wasn't the old codgers, you know, who are sitting around who themselves, most of them are overweight, and can't run to the fence line without huffing and puffing. Wasn't them. It was the young people. And the young people, people say they don't know how to work. Well, just because they're not digging ditches and bucking hay bales and working in coal mines doesn't mean that they aren't working. They are working in areas that we never did. They are learning things because they're being trained to live in a world that is different than the world we lived in. We were trained to live in the world we did. Life has advanced. The world has advanced. To train kids to function only in the world that us old codgers lived in would be to make sure that they couldn't function in the world that is coming. Isn't that what preparedness is all about? We prepare so that we're going to be able to do well no matter what comes, and that's exactly what these kids are doing. Now, when getting back and people say, well, there's on their phone, that ain't work. Well, they are learning things that you never did. And they did, and when it comes back to physical work and all that, Britain did an interesting study years ago. It was around World War II, and they wondered. And this is going to blow another, favorite argument of a lot of people. They did a study back around World War II sometime, and to see if there was a difference, what the difference might be between, the upper classes, the ones that, were out on the polo fields and, that went to public schools, which in England is different than here. I mean, public school in England is like upper crust. And those who were from the war well-to-do. Okay. And they compared them to the so-called working classes. The ones the kids were out there, they weren't playing sports necessarily. They were working hard, and so people have this tendency to think, well, they've lived a hard life, they're going to do better under hard circumstances, right? You know what they found? They found that when they went to war, there was absolutely no difference. No difference at all. And so I think that people, and this is fairly common in the preparedness world, for the people who are older to put down people who are younger, to blame things on the younger generations, just like many of the younger generations blame things on the older generations, and in many cases they're right? I mean, our generations, we already did a whole bunch of stuff wrong and allowed wrong things to happen. The younger generations, they may end up doing things wrong, but they haven't done them yet. And the main thing that people rag on them about is that, well, they're not like us, right? Well, in many ways, they're smarter than us. They're more industrious than us. More kids of these generations have started their own businesses. They have learned things you can't imagine. And they are out there. I mean, these kids, I know my daughter is sometimes studying until 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. I tell her to go to bed. She's now, I got to get this done. I want to learn this. And she still gets up early, goes to school, plays soccer all the time. My sons are just the same way. They both work at jobs, work with me. These are great generations, these younger generations. So if you've been led to believe, or if you've allowed yourself to fall victim to this idea that the younger generations aren't worth a darn because some grumpy old men are, well, in some ways jealous maybe, or in other ways just don't like the fact that these kids aren't like them, don't. These younger generations, they're something. Not all of them. You hear about the ones that are losers. The winners don't make the news. And I tell you, these generations are full of winners. All right. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.